Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the counselor's office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. We are jumping back in. Heck yeah. Webcam, the camera is fixed, so the angle of the dangle is a little bit better. Then I say the dangle of the beard. Wait, what do you think I was saying? Let's talk about PvP. That's right. If you notice, we got the epic Halo music in the background. I actually don't know how, if I'm balancing the soundtrack correctly. If it's louder than normal, sue me. Enjoy Halo. Probably the OG was some of the best, especially when it comes to Bungie. We're talking about Trials of Osiris. If you've been living under a rock, Bungie has made a change, and I'm coming to you not as a PvP god or a content creator whose job is Destiny PvP. I'm coming to you as a very high average player. When I say high, I mean like you have your 1%ers, your top, you have your very bottom, and then you have your just in the middle, the average players. I would say I'm on the top, the upper threshold of average, where I can have some high lows, but I can have some really high highs if I get a opportunity to pop off. And I've demonstrated that with some gameplay stream, and playing comp. Like there's times where I can pop off in comp. Overall, I am average. So I do have some thoughts, as we have Grenadier Jake, who is the Trials master. One thing I will never say is that he's not good at Trials. Like that is his job. His career is built off Trials. He's insane for being that dedicated to a playlist full of cheaters. How's everyone feeling about Trials changes now that the first week is almost finished? By the way, I know this is a late conversation talking about Trials. We're like about to go into the second week, and that's why I want to just put my opinion out there. Let's just talk about the negatives. Let's get that out of the way, shall we? And before we really dive into it, I think the negative is that the solo experience is now the worst experience I ever had in Trials. I am known to go solo flawless. I get my one for the season, get the shader, the whatever, and I get the new gun, and then I'm done. I get my gun for the weekend, and I'm done. I never touch Trials. And overall, it is now that they've removed Mercy and they've made it open matchmaking, it is probably the worst that the solo experience has ever been. Not only that, but not only is it open, but you can get duos, which is more annoying because you can get some duos that are really freaking stupid and very low on the threshold, and they will literally hold you back. I think I've raged more this past weekend in Trials than I have ever raged in Destiny PvP. It is insane the amount of Make-A-Wish runs I've had to do. And I'm saying that from a perspective of someone who tried to go 7 win streak. And we'll talk about the streak system in a minute. If you were actively trying to get 7 wins, don't go solo. I go solo because my first account of Destiny playing with LFG, I got banned because someone was cheating, and Bungie got banned back when they actually cared about cheaters. Banned everyone, including me and the other dude who weren't cheating, but because we were playing with a cheater, we didn't know from LFG, we all got banned. So that's why I'm like a PTSD, and I don't want to lose my account that has, accumulated with that account, and this account is 10,000 hours. I don't want to lose that. I would rather just sell my account for like $1,000 or something. Like I can literally make my money back by selling my account. So like, it's like, come on. Like, yes, I am actually holding that. If I want to break my Stockholm syndrome and I want my money back, I'm literally going to sell it for $1,000. And yes, there are people who will buy it. Just being honest with you, I have looked to see how much accounts of it can go for. You'd be surprised what people are willing to buy in Destiny, which is funny, because I did look up, we'll get to it in a minute. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train. I'm not using a script. So let's just go back to the negatives. The negatives, obviously, like I said, solo is just unbearable. It is the worst experience I think I have had in a very long time. Is this going to continue on? I think so. I am playing, yes. Okay. I am playing good old Halo music. I wish it would go back to skill-based matchmaking. I think it would be better solo experience. Also, I wish we'd have one mercy. I think if you're going to keep open matchmaking, you need one mercy. I think it's fair. I don't think if you're playing a trio, you need a mercy because you're playing as a team. You have the advantages working as a team in comms, whereas solo, you do not. That's just my honest opinion. I think if you want to get 7 win streak, it is, unless you are a god. Like I said, I'm not looking at the 1%ers because they don't represent the overall 90% of the community. Like I've seen several people post, like I went solo and got like a 50 to 100 win streak. Yeah, I'm sure you got lucky if you're RNG and got a little Timmys on the other team and you were able to clap cheeks. My problem is if you, it shouldn't be RNG. The competitive game mode shouldn't be RNG. Like I think the party play, the quick play should be open skill. It should be whatever. But you're in a competitive game mode. Like I just, why are we playing RNG? The most I got was a 4 win streak, and that was it. I went to the lighthouse 3 times. But that's my only negative. Overall, going and playing Trials, if you're just looking from a loot perspective, is the most rewarding it has ever been. Absolutely. It is a W. Like I said, solo sucks. If you can play a trios, you're going to have the highest chance of getting a 7 win streak that you could possibly get. I absolutely love a change because the loot, even if you are getting railed in the ass, you have chances of loot to drop and you can get the weapons you're wanting. Like I got so many random exalted truths to drop that I got the role I was looking for my hunter. I got destabilizing, demoralize, and that's what I wanted. Then I got an adept with what was it? Destabilize one for all, which is another role I was interested in. Like I got the roles daddy wanted. I think if you're trying to get the cosmetics, it's a lot harder, and it should be. Like I'm gonna say it right now. Like getting the cosmetics should be harder. The problem is the open skill matchmaking, which kind of makes it throws in RNG that shouldn't be there, in my opinion. Especially since you have to grind to get lucky to get it to drop in the first place. Even if you go 7 win streak, you're not guaranteed to get the ship or the sparrow, which honestly, who gives a shit about the sparrows? We have literally skimmers now, but the ship, you want the different ships. You have to get lucky. But outside of that, the loot, opening the chest, even though I did 4, 3, and even had opened the chest on a 2 streak. The 2 streak, even at a 2 streak, I got a lot of freaking loot. And I think that is really good for your casual average players. I can see any casual average player at least getting a 2 streak if they're lucky, because they might get that one dude that carries them. For multiple matches. Like out of 7 wins, there is a higher chance that you get at least 2 wins back to back. And I think as for casual players, you're going to have a good time. You may not have a fun time, but you're going to have a good time with the loot. And I think that's a big difference, is fun versus good. Good time, you're getting the loot, you're happy. You may not enjoying getting railed in between though. So there's a couple of there is 2 other negatives. One, I don't know why there's 2 passages. One's like the Timmy pool, whereas the other one is the one that takes you to the lighthouse. If it's already open matchmaking and it's not skill-based matchmaking, why are there 2 different passages? Just get rid of it. Secondly, if you go 7 wins, they changed it that you're now in the flawless pool, which if you're in the flawless pool, you can no longer reset and you can't go back to the tower anymore. Like the the lighthouse. You can't go to the lighthouse. You can't reset and keep going. You're stuck in a new pool by itself, which has now encouraged people to reset their passages. I think it's hilarious that I've seen people complaining that Trials is giving. Oh, that's not it. I lost it. But essentially, there are people who are resetting before they get to 7. They're resetting their passage, and that's how they're kind of cheesing having to go into the lighthouse pool. Is they either they throw or they cheese before they get 7 streaks, so they can just continue to play in the population that is, I guess, not flawless. Which I think is kind of stupid, but it is what it is. So you have that. Yeah, I mean, out the 7-win streak, I think that's a great change for people who never go flawless. You're seeing people who have never gone flawless go flawless. I got an adept and pretty freaking happy. I felt actually encouraged to keep going to trials, whereas before I tried a couple hours, be really disappointed and give up. I didn't feel upset, anxious about it when playing either. Maybe trials will turn into something I actually enjoy doing. And I think that's great. It's opening more doorways for more people. That is an absolute W. And then you have people who are upset that Trials is now rewarding. I think it's hilarious that I've seen people complain that Trials is giving too much loot and it's going to end up killing the playlist, as if one of the biggest complaints of literally every activity was that they weren't rewarding enough. Like, shit, man, I love crafting, but I'll take getting showered in loot over any day of the fucking week. Yeah. And it's mostly the same people who hate on me for saying crafting was the best system in the game. While it's nice to get tons of loot for very little effort relative to previous versions of Trial, the issue I see is people having it is that a bunch of the people are going to jump in for a couple hours the first week or two and then not play again because they got all their roles. I mean, I understand the critique, but clearly the drip feeding loot in hopes of player retention strategy was not working either. True. Yeah, and I definitely like it better. Before, I would occasionally play for a bit to try to get a gun for PB and then not play for the rest of the season. Now all I had to do was play a couple hours in the first day and I got all the roles I wanted. Which, here's the thing, man. I think there's truth to what this person's saying. But you've got to think the people, you got to think the people who are joining, getting the loot and then getting off were probably people that were never playing in the first place. So even if it, for the first couple of weeks, the population is much higher and then it slowly dips back down to where it normally would be, at least you can say for the first couple of weeks that it is a massive improvement. Like, more players, regardless if it only lasts for a couple of weeks, is still an improvement because no one's investing in it. And who knows, maybe people will fall in love with Trials. They like the competitive scene and they feel like they're not being punished. Like comp, it feels like you don't get pretty much any loot comparative to Trials in comp. And so when you go into that competitive scene, it feels bad. Here, you can practice with the competitive side and not really be punished. Like if you're not trying to go for a set win streak and you're just trying to get wins, it is not as punishing anymore. Like you could literally try to practice or like you could use Trials as a way to practice for competitive. You see what I mean? And you don't feel like you're being punished. Whereas literally if you play comp, you lose points and you don't get loot and it's not nearly as good, which I still don't know why we have 3 different competitive. Like we have Trials, we have Iron Banner, and we have comp. Like I don't understand we have all these different competitive game modes, but here we are. Imagine playing a loot shooter and not wanting to be showered in loot. Trials and Nether now has loot like we've seen in Opulence, objectively the best season in the game's history, and people are complaining. I don't know about that. It's not objectively the best season in history. Absolutely not. Opulence was better. Hell, even Black Armory was better because it was a season that also gave you a raid that wasn't returning. It was a brand new raid. You also had a secret mission. That is a fucking lie. All right, and then that's not the only issue. We have maybe be something worth touching on as a company that when your solo text chat is off by default or something could lessen this. I want Trials to thrive. Why is this person wanting text chat to be turned off? If y'all want lower skill players to stay in trial, I'd recommend not insulting them when they are on your team. I'm currently struggle busing my way to Lighthouse Passage as a solo. I'm 5 to 9 so far with a sub 5, and the rate of matches where I've lost or losing subsequently have been insulted in text chat by my teammates has been 100%. I know I'm not a good PvP player, especially not threes, but the whole point of this rework is to try and get more people into mode, so there's a broader range of skill available for player base. Well, farm. I can handle people being salty at me, but there are going to be a lot of players who are not going to be cool with it and are just going to dip and not come back. I'm not sure what else to say. I want this game mode to succeed. While I'm not good, I enjoy the challenge, trying to get better. I went flawless once during the last resurgence because there was just more people in the mode, and I played a lot more back then. I'd love for other players to be able to access this as well, but they won't get the chance if folks drive them off. Here's my thing. I think I grilled so many people, especially duos, because, and here's the thing, I had so many duos where I would try to follow them, get in a gunfight, and then I die, and the two morons would be bunny hopping in some other direction. And like the amount of people who don't know how to team shoot is impeccable. So I roasted them, and I don't care. I told them to go play Fortnite. I will admit I was a toxic asshole, but here's the thing. There were multiple times where I would try to like text chat and say, hey, this is what we need to do, and they would just not do it. The amount of thing that really pissed me off are the people who think they're good, who just run off and think they're just gonna 1v3 or 1v2, and then they just fucking die right off the rip. Like, I hate those players, and I will push for you to go away. You are actively a horrible player. You should not be playing a game of threes. If you're so stupid that you're gonna rush a 1v3 thinking you're some kind of god, you do not need to be in this game mode. I don't care. I don't care if that's toxic. You are a piece of shit who is literally hurting the gameplay of other players. Like, I literally will throw the rest of the game if you are that person that just rushes off and dies immediately because you think you're some 1%er that you are not. Like, the amount of the stupid degen people I have dealt with in trials has made me to where I advise you, if you are playing a game and you're not having fun, just throw. Get a couple shots, jump off a cliff, and just throw. Don't even, like, for your mental health, remember, this is a video game. If someone else is pissing you off because they're not working as a team, or they're being stupid, and you're trying your hardest and they seem like they're not giving crap, throw so the match goes by and you can just start over and go to a different card or a different team. I'm just saying it. And if you think, oh, well, that's not very nice, fuck them. You're playing a game, you're not having fun, don't play. And unfortunately you can't leave. I mean, you can. I literally was suspended for like 5 hours last weekend, the amount of times I left games. And I played, I just watched solo leveling for a bunch of other anime in between, and then I also played the Nether for 30 minutes. Fuck them. This is your game. Play it how you want to play. If you're going to be punished because of open skill matchmaking, like, one thing, it's skill-based matchmaking. You have someone that's equivalent to your skill. But if you're getting like little Timmies who don't know what the fuck they're doing, and there's the other passage where it's supposed to group, like, be easier, or I don't know. Most people who are playing that are the little Timmies, whereas most people who are trying to actually like win are playing the big boy light house passage. I'm just saying, like, you're not obligated to have to stay in the match or try. Like, someone else's emotional compass does not dictate whether, if you're not having fun, that you have to force yourself to stay. Fuck them. Elitists be damned. You can have a high KD and not act like a knob. That's all I gotta say. Kindness is free. You can also say that they're not required to do a Make-A-Wish run and try to carry you. The only fix is taking communication away in a mode where those comms are supposed to be integral to winning. Not one person on my team in the last 40 matches has used voice chat. It's the players, and now that's painfully obvious. It's a parenting issue too. Most people can't even type fast enough on a console to really make a difference. And the large player, I wish there's a way that you could choose on PC not to play with console players. Just saying. Comms are not integral to winning. Yes, they are. This is someone who doesn't understand how IN PvP works. This is an example of someone who doesn't understand how IN comms work. If you have comms or some kind of way to communicate with your teammate, even if it's just chat, I have won games solo because of me communicating with my team in chat. Especially if your teammate's dead, they can tell you the position of where the other guys are if you can't see them, or if it's safe to res them, like, hey, I'm safe. That's the kind of stuff that is integral to winning. I'm sorry, like I said, these are the people you want to abandon immediately. You just want to just throw or leave the game. I'm literally in Lost Pool trying to have a good time playing solo. Still got people harass me and tax. It's wild. Always the same messages. You should stick to PvE. That's me. I will admit it. I'm an ass. And if I'm an average player and I'm being an ass to you, that tells me you're really not good. I don't want to make it clear I wasn't doing it to every bad player. I was just doing it to the ones that were literally not trying to work as a team. I can generally work with people and communicate, hey, this is the plan, this is what we're doing. It's the people that just don't fucking listen. The people who just say, you know what? This is a team playing mode, but I'm just going to do the fuck I want. And the amount of people that I said, the amount of people that reply to me after I try to communicate what we're doing wrong or what we need to do, they just say, just play the game. Okay. Those are the people that I say, well, I'm going to play the game how I'm going to play, and fuck you, I'm just going to throw. And then they get pissed off, like, why are you just throwing, man? Why are you not trying? Like, because you just want me to play how I want to play, so I'm just not going to try. This issue is a large portion of the community sucks. You have toxic sweats, or people who aren't even good but blame their teammates, who are absolute jerks. Then you have people who are absolutely trolling by ruining PV, running PV. Yes! Why? Like, the amount of PvE builds in PvP don't make sense. It's not hard to look up a video for PvP, bro. Like, you don't even have to look up a video. You can literally just put on mods that aren't PvE. Like, if I see you running elemental resistances and like scavengers and stuff like that, like, and what are you doing? What? Are you running like Lord of Wolves in PvP? What? Let's see. Do not play 7-win streaks. It actually got me to play Trials. It's got to be doing something right. I'm going to take more time to really dive into my thoughts, but at a high level, remove the Trials passage and just roll the Lighthouse passage. Bacon, Mercy, yes, please. Detect when players are purposely resetting the cards. Yep. Changes are good. Curious about its longevity, though. I think the changes were great, but let's see what the population looked during the last month of Heresy. It's a clearly flawed system. It feels great while the player pop is high, but it clearly favors service providers and feels like a middle finger to anyone wanting to play with a group of friends. It really isn't. What are you talking about? It is more rewarding to play trios. What are you talking about? You get so many, like, you get increased drop of adepts. You're like, I can't believe this person. Haven't played, but based on your YouTube video explaining it, very good job. A lot of loot making it to the Lighthouse, even with 7-win card. The no loss makes way more forgiving with matchmaking. Honestly, think the weekly card is probably harder depending on your skill level. I have with it, but really demotivating to play against players so far of your skill level that you get pummeled for 5 games in a row. That's why you need skill-based matchmaking. Solo experience is miserable. Getting teamed with PvE players and wrecking my streaks. Mercy need. Yes, thank you. Again, I'm not the only one that thinks it. I think I'm going to end it there. I think that's the biggest thing, is that the solo experience is just bad. And it does make, I think that's the problem, is skill-based skill. This is a good example where ranked and high up, like, party play is okay for not being skill-based matchmaking. But I think high-end gameplay where it's supposed to be competitive should have skill-based matchmaking where people are matched with similar levels. Because when you have a mix mash, you're going to have a bad experience and it's going to piss people off. I think it's only going to get worse when less and less people play. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it gets better. Maybe if all the casuals and the people who are bad at PvP leave, we'll start getting more people randomly matching you that are actually good at it or average. I would be okay with me and a bunch of average dudes playing than people who are literally never touched PvP in their life. And I feel like I'm doing a Make-A-Wish run. I'm sorry. It is not my responsibility to do a Make-A-Wish run with anyone. And it's not your responsibility either. That's going to piss people off. Fuck them. It is not your job. You didn't sign a contract. There's no social contract that you have to follow. You bought the game. Play how the fuck you want to play. You're not having a fun time? Leave or throw. Fuck them. Because if the social contract would say, if you are going to continue to play, then they need to know what they're doing. Just saying. It's only fair. If you're forced to have to stay in every match, then every match people should know how to play PvP. I know that's a very toxic take, and that's how I am with every video game. Like if I'm not having a good time in any PvP, I will leave that match and reset it. And when I say I'm not having fun, like if I'm losing, that's not necessarily not having fun. When I'm getting my ass handed to me because it's a one-sided match where everyone on my team is just not good and it feels like I'm carrying, when I am the dude, and that's happened a lot, where if I am literally carrying a team and I'm an average player, there's a problem. Especially against dudes who have like a flawless emblem, or they have the red armor showing that they've already gone 7 win streaks. Like if I'm winning those matches for 2 other people, that's a problem. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Overall, I think this is a W. I think there's tweaks that need to be done, but I don't think the loot is one of them. If you're not wanting the 7 win streak and you're just wanting loot, absolutely worth it. Absolutely. Just know that if you're on my team and you suck, if you are not willing to work with me or communicate, or we're trying to play as a team, if you're willing to try to play as a team, I have no qualms. But if you try to just do your own thing and tell me to just play the game, I'm probably going to throw or leave. Because no. As always, Mr. Toxic is leaving the chat. Hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time. By the way, this is why I don't main PvP or try to be like a top-notch PvP player. I'm way too competitive and I'm way too toxic to invest into any PvP game as that much, because I know myself. Just too toxic.